Behold, today we're witnessing an epic battle between the Dave Ramsey's baby steps and the FIRE community. This will be the most epic battle of the personal finance universe. Sponsors of the battle are Tatiana and Pekka from Pipo Living YouTube channel. Here we talk about personal finance and all that jazz. If you want to build a better financial future, come along with us. Okay, and just before we begin, I will just mention to you what the FIRE is and what the Dave Ramsey's baby steps are. So the FIRE abbreviation means Financial Independence, Retire Early. This is a community that focuses on acquiring wealth as fast as possible in order to be free of their corporate 9-to-5 jobs as fast as possible. The Dave Ramsey's baby steps are a particular sequence of 7 steps that focuses on getting you out of debt and gradually building your wealth towards the end of your life, towards retirement. In a nutshell, the Dave Ramsey's baby steps are: the first one is getting an emergency fund of $1,000. The second one is paying off all your debts. Step number 3 is saving 3 to 6 months of living expenses in a big emergency fund. Step number 4 is saving 15% of your income towards your investment and retirement in the future. Step number 5 is saving for your kids' college. Step number 6 is paying off your mortgage. Step number 7 is living, enjoying, and giving. So those were the steps. If you want to know more, I will leave all the links in the description. And without further ado, let's dive into the battle! What are the rules? Okay, to the rules. The rules are simple. We just take some characteristic that we need to assess, then we say what FIRE is, the FIRE community people think of that and what they follow and believe, and then Dave Ramsey as well and his followers. You take a sheet of paper. If you like the FIRE community point of view better, give point to them. If you like the Dave Ramsey's community point of view better, give a point to them. And then in the end, we will calculate all the points. And don't forget to post your results in the comments and we'll compare and we'll see who wins. Okay, round number 1. The speed and the scale. Let's compare who is faster, FIRE community or Dave Ramsey people in terms of acquiring wealth. I think you already know the answer. The FIRE community is all about getting as much money as possible, as fast as possible. So they are definitely ahead here. They are focused on deprivation, on cutting maximum expenses, on earning maximum money in order to get the amount of wealth that you can retire with. And they're focused to do that as fast as possible. In the case of Dave Ramsey steps, you're in such a hurry during the time when you are paying off your debt, but after that you're just living your normal life, not in a hurry to get all the wealth possible. So the rewards are definitely potentially better in the FIRE community than in the Dave Ramsey's baby steps, but it's up to you. What do you like more? My choice is FIRE. Okay, number 2. In the second one, we are talking about paying off debt. Both these schools of thought are focusing on paying off your debt first. So the FIRE community insists you don't need to have debts, especially those with high interest rates, and you need to get rid of them as fast as possible. Same says Dave Ramsey. There is slight difference though in their approach. Dave Ramsey insists that personal finance is 80% behavior and 20% head knowledge. That's why he came up with the snowball method of paying off your debts. So in a nutshell, you're listing all of your debts from smallest to biggest and start paying them off from the smaller one to the big one. The positive side effect is that you are encouraged when you are dealing with the small debt, you have more money to throw on your second one and you're pumped and positive and you have the energy to tackle the rest of the debts one by one. In case of the FIRE community, they are more head knowledge. They focus on numbers more and they tend to use the avalanche method. The avalanche method is all about numbers. So they list their debts in order of higher interest rate first and lower last, and they tackle them in that way. Video about that is in the description as well. So it all depends on you what kind of debt payoff you will choose. So ding! So give them points according to your preferences. Ding! The third point, we continue our race. Or is it battle? Battle! And we continue with the debt as well. So in the previous point, we've seen how they tackle debt differently, but here the whole attitude to the debts. Dave Ramsey is really strict about the debt. He says, no debt at all. While the FIRE community approves the possibility of the good debt. They think if you use debt in order to acquire wealth, there is a place to it. You can totally use it. The most well-known use of the debt in the FIRE community is to acquire rental properties. They run all the math, they calculate their costs, the future cash flows, and if it's profitable, the debt is justifiable. They take it. So the FIRE community followers have good debt. Dave Ramsey, no debt at all. He thinks it's evil. No, I don't mean to underscore it anyhow. No. It's just he's playing really safe because debt can be tricky. Life happens. Not having any debts is an insurance that you won't get into trouble with money in case of any emergencies, if that an economy emergency or family emergency. You just choose which way you would like to play, with more risk in the FIRE community or safer and more peaceful with less risk with the Dave Ramsey community. It's time to give points! Pew 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 pew! Okay, round number 4. House hacking. Okay, this is getting interesting. House hacking. The FIRE community actually established this term, house hacking. At least I haven't heard that before. So they're all about looking for cheap houses. Cheap housing, they want to reduce their housing costs as much as possible and maybe to live even for free. Mortgage free, payment free, and free. While the Dave Ramsey community, they're not into really cheap housing and house hacking. They don't really talk about that. Of course, Dave Ramsey emphasizes that you need to shop around, you need to pay attention, and you need to choose wisely, not to overpay, but they are not into the details and special strategies that the FIRE community have in order to reduce their spending on house as much as possible. It is pretty good that you don't have payments, but on the other side, it usually comes with some inconveniences. For example, you need to rent out some of the rooms in your house, or maybe you need to buy duplexes and triplexes and rent out the other ones. So you need to arrange this all, you need to take the mortgage, and you need to find occupants and take care of those houses, and all that headache is all yours. Or one other strategy in FIRE community, that they buy some houses they need repair and they repair them themselves as much as possible, and then they live in these houses or rent them out or just sell them. This is also a strategy for them. So it's time to give the points. Which one you like better? No brainer. And live only yourself comfortably in your house, or some hustle but with lower expenses. Round number 5. College. You went to college, you want your kids to go to college. Dave Ramsey says if you can't afford, don't go there. No. Or he says that you can go, for example, deliver pizzas in the evening and pay for your tuition yourself as you go and study in a smaller college, maybe some local college, and live at your parents' place. So he is giving you some advice, but not anything in super detail. While the FIRE community, of course, they have everything in detail. If you want, you can really deep there. So they are all into this college hacking. about applying to every possible scholarship that you can find in your country. They also advise going maybe to your local college in order to reduce costs. They're pretty similar actually, but the FIRE community goes in much more detail. To my opinion, FIRE community, they care more. Like they want to go to college and they want it cheap or free. It's like the slight difference is there, but pretty similar. So we're giving points here. Pew pew. Round number 6. Credit cards. This is hot. Okay, we'll start from Dave Ramsey. He says big no to all the credit cards out there. He thinks it's evil and he cut his credit cards and he doesn't even have a credit card score, he said. Yeah. But the FIRE community actually loves credit cards. This is, I think, the biggest difference between them. Because the FIRE community uses credit cards. The followers of the FIRE use them really frequently, always, and they pay lots of attention to it. And they're pretty successful with it. Because they are very intentional. They know their goal and they're moving there. So why do they use credit cards? They use credit cards to acquire points and travel points. Dave Ramsey said, no millionaire has ever acquired wealth with credit cards. The FIRE community says, we acquire free travel with credit cards. So if you're into free traveling and you know how to behave with credit cards, you can take control over your emotions and emotional purchases, then you can go this route. Otherwise, go after Dave Ramsey and cut your credit cards. Okay, we're giving points here. Pew pew. Round number 7. Customization. Okay, Dave Ramsey has a really strict set of rules, baby steps that you need to follow one by one. For example, when I came across, I got so fired up, not with FIRE, but with Dave Ramsey, with FIRE as well, but that's a different story. And I followed his advice on investment and paying off debt and the sequence of that. So Dave Ramsey said, unless you've paid off all your debts except mortgage, you can't invest your money. Your 15% or whatever percentage you have, you can't really start investing unless you've finished paying off your debts. That's what we're trying to achieve here with Pekka. Our car debt by the end of the year. Follow us and you'll see if we are going to do that or not. So we put on hold our investments for now. I'm so itchy. When you see the possibilities, and now we're paying off debt, we're paying off debt, we're paying off debt, and then we'll invest. So, but in case of the FIRE community, they're not that strict with that. So they won't say that you can't invest because you need to pay off your debt. Because you can, if you think that you will earn more, then you will benefit paying off this debt. So they're kind of not that strict. There is room for deviation. Like a lot of room. You can actually customize anything, unlike in the Dave Ramsey's community. So they follow the steps really strictly. You've paid off your debt, then you're building an emergency fund, and only after that you start investing in college savings and paying off your mortgage. While in the FIRE community, their main focus is just building as much wealth as possible and as fast as possible. And if they can benefit from the arbitrage of some of the things, they will do that. So points to them. Which one you like better? Okay, the last round. Round number 8, discipline. Of course, both of the methods, both of the communities require discipline from you if you want to acquire wealth and to build your financial independence. Though the amount of discipline and the duration of it varies a little bit, at least from our point of view. So in case you are following the Dave Ramsey community, they require discipline, like really hard discipline in the beginning of the journey, when you're on the step 1 and 2. So when you're getting your first $1,000 as an emergency fund, and when you're paying off your debts. So in this time it's rice and beans, beans and rice, as Dave Ramsey says. But after that, you're just living your life. You have your budget, you have your expenses, you have 15% towards your investment, and the life is structured and easy. But in case of the FIRE community, you just grind to the end until you get all the amount that you need. And the amount of you need, they also calculated. That's the 4% rule. The easy way to calculate the amount that you need to retire is just take your yearly expenses that you think that you will have when you retire and multiply it by 25. That's the amount of money that you will need to have when you're retired. If this amount is invested in stock market, for example, and you get your 7-8% annually and you withdraw 4%, then with the probability of 100%, at least what Trinity study says, you will get your portfolio work for 30 years without any problems, while the Dave Ramsey community doesn't have any of these calculations. So all this time while you're on your way to acquiring these 25 times your annual expenditures, you're living in deprivation, you're just taking all the work you can, you're just searching lots of different information on how to save money, how to be frugal, how to earn more, and you're just working towards your goal blindly, without any enjoyment of your life. So you need really good discipline in this kind of adventure. So what kind of discipline you like? Temporary or for a longer period of time? Give your points over here and we are done. Oh, that was epic! Don't you think so? Now calculate your points and write down in the comments who is the winner from your point of view. From our point of view, please no rotten tomatoes, but both. We like them both. Because we like some things from one and some things from another, and we really think that you can benefit from both of them, and depending on what kind of person you are, what kind of lifestyle you want to have, you can get something really precious from both of these personal finance communities. But please write in the description which one won in your opinion. So if you liked our video, please share with someone who will like it as well, and hit the like button and the notification bell, and see you in the next video. Love you, see you. Behold, to take some characteristic of the personal finance step, and if it's with more